Dr. John Ellis, the Hick Doctor from Oklahoma, June 26, 2023. Buster, YouTube question. Can you comment on diesel fumes and the cause of pulmonary fibrosis? Sure, I can comment. I'll even comment. Okay. Hydrocarbons are bad for the lungs. You get a lot of smoke before you get emphysema. Very little hydrocarbons like jet fuel fumes, kerosene fumes, probably the vape kids, and you see that white stuff, that's a hydrocarbon. Oh, come on. Okay, anyway, your lung can't take that. For instance, the burn pits, a lot of stuff at the burn pits is the jet fuel being burned, and you're inhaling it. Desert storm, when you see, the oil wells on fire and your oil all over you, inhaling that oil is bad for the lungs. Now, VA and federal workers' comp are extremely fair. If it contributes the slightest amount, it's 100% covered. So even if you're a smoker, it's going to make it worse, it's covered. All right. And here's a Don. Secondary migraine, Nexus, DBQs from tinnitus. Now, tinnitus will contribute to and aggravate migraines. Absolutely, that's a service-connected condition. Tinnitus also contributes to sleep apnea, folks. That's 50%, all right, for VA. Oh, Charlie. I just submitted my claim, but I'm trying to get letters I need for my RA. I don't want an RA. To time an active duty service in the Marine Corps as a jet mechanic. Well, first of all, if you're in the Marine Corps, you got all kinds of body beat up. And a jet mechanic, you get all kinds of exposures to hydrocarbons, solvents, even brain damage, and peripheral nerve disease. And so all you need is a Nexus report. You need it from a doctor that knows what they're doing. You do not go to the VA and have a doctor at the VA give you a Nexus report. You get your doctor to do it, because they're not trained, and a lot of them have an attitude. So here's one from Rick. I guess my PCP or pain doctor are not allowed to do Nexus reports. Am I screwed? Yeah, anybody can write. Anybody with a white coat can write a Nexus report. You can even MD or even a PA can do it. Okay.
But will they?
Well, will they? No, they shouldn't. Now, I'm licensed to do brain surgery in Oklahoma. If I did it, it'd be malpractice. I ain't trained, okay? Now, so if you're an MD or a DO or chiropractor, you for VA maybe, but you probably ought to get an MD or DO. They can write your Nexus report, and you always want your doctor to do it. But doctor, if you don't know how to do it, don't do it. It's okay to say, I don't know how to do brain surgery. If you don't know federal workers' comp law backwards and forwards and every FECA bulletin and every OWC regulations, don't do it. Because I see hospitals and clinics all over just screw people, and you don't even know you're screwing them. A guy had 5 knee surgeries under federal workers' comp. Thank you, doctor, for doing it in federal workers' comp instead of health insurance. You didn't have to pay copay. When will I be at maximum medical improvement? Well, never. You're always going to need treatment, blah, blah, blah. That cost him $310,000. So shut your mouth, doctor, if you don't know what you're talking about. And the trouble is, you don't know what you're talking about because there's not a course out there in VA for doctors and federal workers' comp for doctors. I'm the course. Not just because I've been doing this for 50 years. Okay. All right. Here's a doctor in Texas. Great video, doc. This is the norm. Great. Thank you very much. Okay. Consequential injuries. In other words, you got a bad knee and now your hip and your back are going out. Or you got carpal tunnel, now you're getting cubital tunnel. Or you got a neck and now it's causing carpal tunnel. You get a nerve pitch tinge, carpal tunnel will show up. It's called double crush. Okay. Consequential condition adjudicated by OWCP. That's the Federal Workers' Comp. Okay. Office of Workers' Compensation Programs. Why does it take so long? Well, it's a morass. It's administrative law. It's supposed to be non-adversarial. It's worse than dealing with an insurance company. So and the claims examiner doesn't have to respond to consequential injuries. Now here's the pearl for all you doctors out there. If you send in federal workers' comp, you CA1 acute injury, CA2 human trauma like carpal tunnel, CA2A recurrence, after you're retired, or a scheduled ward. Any of those, they have to respond within 4 days they've received it. They don't have to look at it. You ask for consequential injury, they don't have to look at it, and they don't. And if they do, you can see they didn't read your letter when they give you the denial. It'll be a template, and it'll just be gobbledygook, denial, and they're supposed to have a high school education. That's all they need. and they're the judge and jury, and you don't even get to know their last name. What's wrong with this system? Okay, so consequential injuries, you need to send it in, then because they don't do anything, then you send in a request to respond in 30 days, and then they don't do anything. Then you request an oral hearing, and they'll do something. If you don't know how to do a oral hearing, send it to me. We'll do it for you. It's your patient. I just want to help you out. Don't worry about it. It won't cost you guys anything or the patient anything. All right, we'll do it for you. Because if you're not trained in doing oral hearings, if you've not been to federal court, you shouldn't be doing this stuff. But now, here's the key. In VA, once you get to Board of Veterans Appeals and you get out of the local area, some states are good, some states are bad. They're going to rubber stamp our report because we just tell the truth, we call it like it is, and these are lawyers, they know the VA law is pro-veteran. It's not equal, it's pro-veteran. And federal law, same way, it's pro-employee. So I've never had an oral hearing officer, it takes more than a few minutes to explain the 4 or 5 points you want to hit. Yeah, that makes sense, and then we get it taken care of. All right. Asking for an oral hearing also works too. So anyway, we'll work. Call me. It's free. I'll tell you what to do, and then you can decide whether to send them up to see the hick doctor. We'll do that stuff. We get them approved, and you go do your consequential injuries, treat them, and take care of them. We're not going to steal anybody from anybody. We're here to help because this is fun. Okay, he's Vietnam. Dad's Vietnam vet, and he's Gulf War vet. Yeah. All right. Okay. So.
Next, you got James on the back side.
Oh, James on the back side. Okay. Oh yeah, big James. Okay,
Michael.
James, big long one. Okay. Air Force Chief Master Sergeant, 30 years. Diagnosed in Parkinson's. Okay, now denied. Now, if it occurs during service, it's covered. Doesn't mean caused. If you develop Parkinsonism while you're in the service, it's covered. All right, but then you probably had all kinds of exposures. Probably been to Nam or maybe Thailand or someplace, or maybe about burn pits or something like that, and then that'll get it covered. But didn't have a Nexus layer. Absolutely, you're going to be because the doctor at the VA, the physician assistant, the nurse practitioner are not going to take something like that and say that's service connected. First of all, they're not trained, and they probably think they're going to get fired by QTC, LHI. They probably wouldn't be, but they're going to think they are, and so they're going to be. They can think they're working for an insurance company, and they're not going to be proactive. Okay. Didn't fall the current herbicides camp in June. Okay, well that's okay. But I'm around aircraft, aviation fuels, toxic. That's enough for me. Under VA and federal. It wouldn't be enough in state workers' comp. Wouldn't be enough in a car wreck, which is and it certainly wouldn't be enough in criminal law, which is beyond a reasonable shadow of doubt. This is based on my education, training, experience, that I have a white coat. That's my opinion. That's what an expert is. Let me digress. Let me explain to doctors out there reasonable medical certainty, reasonable medical probability, more likely than not, all those words that law tries to talk to medicine about. Over 50% of litigation requires a doctor's report. All we learned about legal medicine was that malpractice prevention and that lawyers don't go to heaven, which is the beginning of my course. But lawyers, I love lawyers. And I love our legal system in America. Man, I love it. Okay? Because it's fair once you get to somebody that's got brains. You just don't quit. Everybody quits. Don't quit. You never quit. You keep fighting until you win. Because the law's on your side. Just don't quit. Okay, drenched to J-port fuel spill, combined face water back. You got brain damage, buddy. You got more than Parkinsonism. That Parkinsonism is brain damage. Yeah, you got that plus brain damage. Okay, absolutely, we can help. Okay, here is Michael. I have COVID pneumonia, hospitalized, aggravated breathing issues. Absolutely, yeah. Okay, so he's already disabled a bit with asthma. That's going to from the burn pit, so that's going to be aggravated by COVID. And so your asthma is going to get worse. CT scans of skin, it's still the same, scarring my lungs, main pulmonary diet. Okay, yeah, that's all covered, sure. But like the scheduled ward, okay. Scheduled ward is going to need a spirometry, a breathing test. and that's how you do that. Now, that's for the lungs. But now the asthma, how often you have attacks, when your bronchodilator does it open up the lungs and stuff. Asthma is different than lung damage. Asthma is a twitch in the lungs, like a twitchy eye that closes. They clap and then you open them up. Okay, but then the permanent damage, you've got permanent damage, and that's all covered. Yeah. But you need a spirometry from a pulmonologist. Okay, and you probably have that in all your workup. Yep, this is all easy stuff, guys. Just remember, the law is very fair, just no one knows it. And don't give up. Now, it really hurts when the GOV screws you. Now, if you're in Russia or China and they screwed you, you wouldn't even complain. You say, well, that's life, and I'll find out when I get to heaven. But we're supposed to be the good guys. Superman to comic books said we're truth judges the American way. We're supposed to be the good guys. And when the GOV doesn't do that, it's psychologically damaging. I think when you file a VA claim or you file a federal workers' comp claim, you should file a PTSD claim to start in 6 months, just for the crap you're going to go through. But don't give up. That's what happens. Every doctor said, every lawyer, I did one, I'll never do another one. Well, you gave up. Don't give up.
That's the key.
That's the key. Don't give up.
All right, well, thank you, Doc.
And one more thing. The case never closes. You can always reopen, and try again and again and again and again. The law's on your side. Just no one knows the law. Love you.